धन्यवाद माननीय राम जी. Honorable G.V.L. Narasimha Rao.
Thank you, Deputy Chairman, sir, for the opportunity to speak on the important bill, Anti-Maritime Piracy Bill, and the name, as I think was mentioned in the House, has possibly been revised. The bill, title of the bill has been revised as Maritime Anti-Piracy Bill. Honestly, I don't think this was required. Whether you say anti-maritime piracy or maritime anti-piracy, it means the same thing. But in some wisdom, when you say, anti-drug trafficking bill, it is not anti to drugs. You have to look at the whole word, the two words together as a phrase. But in wisdom, if the committee had recommended and it was accepted, I think we all will go along with that. I would like to first of all congratulate Honorable Prime Minister for bringing in such an important legislation into this House. While I think the inspiration for the bills clearly comes from Honorable Prime Minister.
Please. Mr. John
Inspiration. I know you have a problem with you have a problem with our leader, but the whole nation, whole world is saluting him. Okay. Now, I mentioned I mentioned the name of Honorable Prime Minister.
आपस में सीट पर बात न करें.
I mentioned
Mr. G.V.L. Narasimha Rao,
certainly as the Minister for External Affairs, Dr. Jaishankar has piloted the bill. He has brought the bill into this House, but clearly the inspiration comes from the Prime Minister. Because I would like you to know why I took the name of Prime Minister, Mr. Modi. He has become Prime Minister in 2014. But in 2011, on 26/11/2011, when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat, he addressed a global maritime security and anti-piracy conference in Gandhinagar. And he articulated vision for it. So this bill predates his even assumption of office as Prime Minister. So therefore, I took his name. And it is Prime Minister in 2011, as Chief Minister of Gujarat, he said a couple of things which I will read out, which is very important. Both piracy and seaborne terrorism have become more common in the last few decades. This has further gone up due to global proliferation of small arms. All this has added to maritime vulnerabilities. So this is a vision that predates even his assumption of office. As
please, Jaji, please.
Also as the President, when he recalled, the Honorable Prime Minister, when he spoke at a UN conference, at UN Security Council meeting during India's presidency of the Council in August 2021, which is a first for this country, for the Prime Minister of this country, he made 5 proposals for global maritime security. And what are these 5 points? Remove barriers to legitimate maritime trade. Certainly this is one such barrier, and we are trying to remove that barrier through this legislation. Second, peaceful resolution of maritime disputes in accordance with international law. 3, jointly fight maritime threats from natural disasters and non-state actors. 4, conserve maritime environment and marine resources. And 5, promote responsible maritime connectivity. I would like to make you feel a little more jealous, because at this meeting, the outcome of this meeting was a presidential statement on maritime security that was piloted by India. This was a first such UNSC product adopted by 15 member states unanimously with a holistic view of maritime security. So today with this legislation, we are not only putting in place a domestic legislation, we are also accepting some leadership of this committee of nations which have such a resolution, such a legislation in place. As the Honorable Minister Dr. Jaishankar at the outset mentioned, we are also doing this as a part of our international obligation on UN Convention on Law of the Sea. And the definition of, I was looking at the convention original document, it has Article 101, which defines piracy, which also identifies who a stateless person is. I have seen some of the members becoming quite rattled about the definition of a stateless person. A stateless person, no, you're quite rattled. Stateless person in this legislation is recognized, is listed as a person who is not considered as a national by any country by virtue of its laws. And if somebody who is living in this country, who is residing in this country, who does not belong to this country or any other country, if he commits an act of, if he commits any act in violation of this particular legislation, do you want to let him off? Do you want to let him off? If somebody indulges in piracy, living in this country, and claims that I am not a citizen of India, I am not a citizen of any other country, therefore this law doesn't apply to me. This is what such criminals can do. This is certainly a provision that is required to make such people also accountable to this particular act. Also,
No point of order. Please.
Sir,
You
also,
are not quoting
I don't
rules.
know if it was intended or unintended. Some members refer to this as anti-privacy bill. This is an anti-piracy bill. I hope it was a slip of tongue, but if it was meant derogatorily or to raise hackles of some people outside this house, I think let them not be really misinformed. This is anti-piracy bill, not anti-privacy. If it has not gone on record, I would request that document be corrected, though it may be a mistake. So this legislation is very important. As I said, it's a thought process that we have repealed a number of laws in this country because many of them have become completely archaic, irrelevant. But I would like to certainly congratulate the government for bringing in a bill that is more required to ensure that there is no piracy and piracy doesn't get away unpunished. Sir, I would like to seek, though, a clarification also from the Honorable Minister, because I think he is a very erudite person and he can possibly. Sir, Article 102 of the Article 102 of this legislation, of this UN Convention is possibly not a part of this legislation. If it was, why was it not considered? If possible, I would like to really understand, sir, because I'll read out that particular Article 102. It says piracy by a warship, government ship, or government aircraft whose crew was mutinied, because there are some instances of neighboring countries possibly using their warships or possibly using their government ships for activities that can possibly be categorized as piracy. So would this legislation enable us to even punish such acts of piracy, or would that be out of the framework? Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.